As Marvel continues to expand its roster of classic comic book characters, and after the rise of the vengeful demonic character reverted to them, it was just a matter of time before we're gonna hear something about this project. Now that we've renewed interest in bringing Johnny Blaze into the fold, we couldn't be more excited to hear that Marvel is prepared for fleshing out the spirit of vengeance in live action.
Sorry. Does it hurt? It looks like it does.
The third installment was supposed to be an easy bet for Sony, and you'd ask why that? Well, with a budget of $47 million, Spirit of Vengeance made a total of $132 million before home video sales and almost $51 million domestically. Even Nicolas Cage himself has the same opinion. So when asked if there is going to be another project with the same title, he said, "I've said what I have to say. I don't want to say is never. Anything's possible." Nick Cage's Ghost Rider comes across a polished, historical being when compared to other rooftop-jumping, spandex-wearing superheroes. The story, in general, starts with Johnny finding out that his father is terminally ill, so the respite comes in the form of an old man who offers to save Johnny's father in exchange for his services as a bounty hunter, who's gonna bring back the damned souls back to hell. Johnny agrees and signs a contract with Blood, dismissing the agreement as a trivial gimmick. His life has changed forever after this, and as the most ironic twist, his father meets with an accident and dies, while his soul belongs to the devil now.
You're mine, Johnny Blaze.
But that certain romanticism that the character organically invokes is what makes Ghost Rider stand apart from his peers. Johnny Blaze is self-assured and self-confident, while normal superheroes are usually repressed. Superheroes are portrayed as real-life human beings recently, don't you think? And it was a real relief that Ghost Rider focused on the character's truth and shed this goody-goody image. I think that the 80s witnessed a subsequent rise in superheroes that were more in tune with real-life problems and much darker. Wolverine and the Punisher, for example, carved out a niche for themselves. Ghost Rider, on the other hand, is a flame-headed superhero more relatable to a wider audience. The character has a very strange origin. It first appeared back in 1967, featuring a hero that saved the day in the Old West. This Western comic was created by Gary Friedrich and Roy Thomas, along with artist Dick Ayers. Only 5 years later, it made its first ever appearance in Marvel Spotlight. The story wasn't much different in the comic as well, the stuntman Johnny Blaze giving his soul in exchange for the devil to save his stepdad, thus creating the Spirit of Vengeance, or the second movie released in 2011. The character used to hit that like button. No, really, in all seriousness now, he used to change a lot over the years. But one thing is sure, Johnny Blaze has a certain amount of gravitas and depth in both mediums, the comic and the movies. The makers of the film chose to stay loyal towards the source rather than making it more palatable for the mainstream audience. The on-screen adaptations were pretty accurate, even though it wasn't exactly the same as in the comic. Ain't nobody complains about that. Ghost Rider showed up in many other projects like TV series, animated movies, game adaptations, and besides, Nicolas Cage, the character, was also portrayed by Tom McComas in Season 4 of the Marvel TV series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Anyway, when we think of Johnny Blaze, the first to come up on your mind is definitely Cage, the guy who took this burden both in 2007 and 2011. As much as it pains me to say, 2011 was the worst year for Nicolas Cage, probably in his whole career. So many projects falling short of average, such as Trespass, Drive Angry, Season of the Witch, and, of course, Ghost Rider 2. But wait a minute, I wouldn't say that Ghost Rider was a bad movie. In fact, the movie was carrying a 12A certificate, it was retrofitted with 3D, and despite being directed by mega violence merchants Taylor and Neville Dine, the movie used the power of Nick Cage in all his glory. Cage's portrayal of Johnny Blaze eluded a different level of composure, something that nobody could have expected. But okay, now let's talk about the future plans. Okay, when did we start talking about the new Ghost Rider? I think that it all started with Keanu Reeves' appearance on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. He already has his heart and soul set on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and for no other but as the flaming skull-sporting avenging angel. When asked which Marvel character he would like to play, the actor quickly replied, 10-year-old me would want to. I think he'd probably want to be Ghost Rider. In fact, having Reeves as Ghost Rider was actually something that Marvel fans have been crying out for a long time. With the star of John Wick, Constantine, and The Matrix, and a guy who's a real-life lover of all things motorcycle, this would be a great comeback of the anti-hero character on the screens. The actor confirmed that he's gonna have meetings with the studio saying, "We haven't yet, we've met, and Kevin Feige is a cool cat." Yeah, but no, we don't have anything, gotta find something. Kevin, on the other hand, is eager to add Keanu Reeves to the MCU roster. We talk to him for almost every film we make. We talk to Keanu Reeves about, I don't know when, if, or ever he'll join the MCU, but we very much want to figure out the right way to do it, said Feige, and that's all we wanted to hear. The character has already been introduced in the world of Marvel as part of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the form of Roberto Robbie Reyes, but while he was well received, the show itself has since been removed from canon, which only says that it's time for another live action. There's one more obstacle before we see the new movie, and that's the plot. When the original Ghost Rider was released, comic book movies were in a different place back in 2007, but the rise of Ghost Rider are reverted back to Marvel now. Marvel didn't have an interest in making another movie after The Spirits of Vengeance was released. Considering the reviews, that was understandable, but now the circumstances have changed and it seems like they have this project on the roadmap. Either way, you might have heard that even before the live action is released, we might see another appearance of the character in different movies. For instance, Avengers Secret Wars, which is a 2026 MCU Phase 6 movie, might give us a cameo of Ghost Rider and Nick Cage in the role. It's expected that the movie will see the culmination of Marvel's multiverse. There's a rumor that both Gabriel Luna's Robbie Reyes and Cage's Johnny Blaze could smash that subscribe button. No, really, they could both appear as variants of Ghost Rider. There's another one that sets the return of Johnny Blaze in the upcoming Blade movie. If this happens and Keanu Reeves portrays the Flame Skeleton, there's no doubt that he and Mahershala Ali as Eric Brooks will be a great duo fighting against some new kind of vampires. According to many, this would be the best way for Ghost Rider to become part of the MCU, as he and Eric Brooks share a lot of history behind. And finally, I think this is very possible to happen, a prequel story. A real character story telling us how Johnny Blaze became a Ghost Rider. The long-forgotten evil will rise from the shadows, and it will show up on a distant and unknown continent. It won't have boundaries, and it will take over the Earth. This evil will destroy everything that appears in its path. In the meantime, a mysterious group of warriors joins the survivors, and they have one last chance to save the world. It'll be hard for the heroes to stand in their way. Furthermore, there will be a new team of heroes to assist the Ghost Rider. Sooner or later, we'll see this title on Netflix, and it would be a good match for Punisher, Daredevil, or Jessica Jones. And what about you? What do you think will be the main focus of the movie? Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.